Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Michelle Graff, and I'm the editor-in-chief at National Jeweler. I'm pleased to welcome you to the latest episode of My Next Question, National Jeweler's new webinar series sponsored by RDI Diamonds. Today's session is hosted by our senior editor, Brecken Brandstrader, who will be interviewing three guests about how to use TikTok: Joseph Denneberg, Nolan Sponsler, and Persephone. Before I turn it over to Brecken to get the webinar started, I just want to let our attendees know that if they have a question, they can type it into the Zoom Q&A box at the bottom of their screens. I'll be back on at the end of the discussion to facilitate the question and answer session. Also, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on the National Jeweler website this coming Friday, February 19th. Now I'll turn it over to Brecken and her guests. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for that introduction. And thank you so much for everyone for being here today. I know that we've had some kind of crazy weather across the US, so I'm really grateful that you guys are all doing okay and can be here with us. We're here to talk about TikTok today, which is honestly one of my favorite social media platforms, but I'm a little bit of a lurker, you might say. So I'm actually also really excited to hear what you guys have to say in terms of developing content for this fun platform. I think it's one that can seem a little bit daunting to people, especially when it comes to video content and tending towards a younger audience. So I'd like to pick your brains as a group that comes at it from a few different areas about what works and what doesn't, and any other tips you can share with our audience. So let's start a little bit about talking about how TikTok is different from other social media channels and video channels especially. I think there's a really different vibe to it. So what's different and fun about it that accounts should sort of keep in mind as they're starting their adventure on TikTok?
I can start. I will say that I think you can truly adapt it to whatever is comfortable for you. You can kind of fudge it by being creative, even in a COVID situation. But all of these trends and transitions and things, if you look at it like just entering in, it can feel very overwhelming. But what I love about TikTok is it gives this like neutral playing field that you can have visibility with having 0 followers. And I think that that's really, really empowering and takes kind of the edge off. But you also have the ability to lean into the trends when they feel most organic, and adapt them based on whatever your industry is. And obviously for us, it's jewelry. But I feel like the barrier to entry in like comparing it to an Instagram situation, the existent, and that's the beauty of it.
That's a great point. And can you go into that a little bit further? Is that because of the way people sort of discover the videos and how that works?
I hate the word algorithm because I think that it can be a really like bad excuse, but this word, like when it comes to TikTok and algorithm, I love it because the way that they've made it is the way that social should have always been, meaning that if you like someone's content, regardless of whether or not you're following them, TikTok's algorithm is going to serve similar types of content. So for me, if you look on my feed, it's going to be all other people sharing tips and tricks, but also, health and wellness. So it really leans into whatever kinds of content you're consuming, and is very smart in that way to then go back and give you similar types of content. So again, if you have someone who's looking endlessly at rings, then you have an opportunity to actually be seen, even if they're not following you whatsoever.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's why I enjoy it so much, is because it learns you so well and it just feeds you what you want to see, so you can get lost in it for.
Oh my God. It's beautiful and time consuming if you let yourself go into the rabbit hole.
Right, absolutely. And Joseph and Nolan, what about you guys? What do you guys love about TikTok and how it's different?
Well, my favorite part probably is the algorithm. I don't think that there's another social media website or app, whatever, that your first post can get 20 million views organically if it's good. It pushes your content to new audiences to the extreme that I've never seen another application do anything remotely close to that. The opportunity for reach is, the only thing I would compare it to would be like search engine optimization in like 2006, 2007. I don't think a platform like that has ever existed before, and it is very exciting and a lot of fun. And before I started doing TikTok, I was starting to get kind of bored with Instagram because everything had just become so mundane and our growth had slowed so much. And doing TikTok really encouraged me to get creative in different ways, and it made social media fun again. And also, I really love the feature where you have the ability to respond to comments with videos. So like half of our content at least is me just answering somebody's question, or like somebody will say a type of ring that they want to see, and then I'll showcase what they asked for. And at that point, I'm not selling them anything, I'm just giving them what they asked for. And as opposed to making it about me, I'm able to show off our products while making it still about the person who asked, as opposed to being about us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it goes back to like what social media was always supposed to do, which is be social and focused. And I don't know like who these people are on social. I guess it's all of us, right? Are all these people on TikTok, but I think it's a more positive space too, because it's completely imperfect. I will find that, you know, there are videos that I've spent 4 hours editing for 15 seconds, so don't judge me on my time. But those that I've spent all this time creating do worse than something that I've just like turned on my light and just spit out really quickly because it's on trend and it's good content.
Yeah.
And it's imperfect, and that will hit better. And I think like, again, when it comes to barriers to entry, then that becomes a little bit more like you're more inclined to be like, okay, I mean, let me try, let's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the quarantine lockdowns were sort of, you know, the silver lining was that people could spend more time on this kind of thing for business or otherwise. So it sort of turned out some pretty interesting content, and some of the best is, you know, clearly someone was just having fun with it and posted something. And Nolan, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I like the aspect that I can just make a piece of content from videos that I took throughout like a stone cutting process, and where I'm not even really trying. I'm just taking 3-second clips of the process and then mashing them all together and not even putting much thought into it. But those seem to be the ones that people love to see. They just kind of get sucked into the video and they want to see what's going to end. And
just the photos you were taking anyway for your, and you obviously have.
Yeah, exactly. It's stuff I can cross over to Instagram and Facebook and whatever else. So.
Right. Yeah, totally. I mean, and we'll come back to sort of Reel. I wanted to come back to Reels later, and we'll show some examples of the videos of some of you guys' most popular videos. But before we do that, you know, just to keep talking about best methods, we touched a little bit on this, but, you know, it's obviously a place to have fun, but I think for a lot of people, they're concerned about sort of balancing this professional aspect with making sure that they're matching the vibe of TikTok. So how can they balance the two to make sure that they're still representing their brand well?
Well, in my case, I hadn't really considered that at all. I was just having fun with it, and I noticed that there was a lot more of a younger population on there. Definitely people who had no idea that, like, you know, a lot of the stuff that we are talking about was even, you know, like being discussed in the industry. Like, there's so much education that we can provide through our profiles. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts.
Yeah, I think for TikTok, the way to look at it is how can you provide value, to your point, Nolan? How can you provide value to other people? So can you educate, inspire, or engage them? And those are the three places of thought when you're approaching a video or a TikTok that you're creating that I would really aim for, especially as it pertains to the sphere of jewelry. So if you can provide a nugget of education, so not, you know, like whatever that might specifically be, and layer on just a trending sound or add a trending filter, well, then you're still participating in a trend, but you're adapting it for you and your audience. So I think what we need to throw out and dispel is that this isn't just about kids, and this also isn't just about dances. I think that's how people first got on it. But if you actually look at the demographic on TikTok, the age demographic has grown tremendously. We can talk about trending. I did just see.
We'll definitely come to that. Yeah. But that's a great point. And I think, one of the things that I found so interesting was in, following people, how many professionals would come up in terms of like doctors who found new ways to adapt TikTok to just talking about like, here's how to take care of yourself. If this is hurting, do this, which I thought was really interesting. So when you're looking at jewelry, how salesy do you think people can get, or should they sort of steer clear, especially on TikTok? I mean, what do you guys tend to do when you're talking about your products?
I don't really like to approach posts from the perspective of trying to sell something. Like the average person that is watching your video will probably not buy that piece, but if they like you and they like your posts and they like your brand, then over time, where they might buy jewelry maybe once a year, maybe once every 5 years, maybe once every 10 years, when the time comes for them to buy jewelry, they will look to you first. And when they're talking to their friends in real life about conversations related to jewelry, you'll be who they talk to. So there is very much a spider web effect. But like I was told Instagram was a waste of time for a full year. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. And now it's probably the biggest it's certainly the biggest driving factor to our website, probably the biggest driving factor in terms of traffic to our store. And TikTok was very much the same way. It took a while before everyone deemed it not a waste of time. And I was told it was a waste of time for a very long time. And then one day it wasn't.
Right. Interesting. So you're starting by offering the education, the value, what you guys are as a brand and a store, and then people who can become a client will find their way to you. Certainly, they'll say it.
Yeah, I think because of the organic reach that you can get on TikTok right now, it's good to just post a lot about your brand and build your brand awareness. And then right there in your profile is a link to your website, to a custom inquiry page or something along those lines. And that's how you can get sales rather than needing to ask for it or post something for sale. I'll post like, a lot of people don't know what anything is worth. So that I get comments on every single video, like post in your next video how much it's worth and that. But so I started posting retail values of stones and such to give people an idea.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I think also, if you guys are familiar with Gary Vee, he's an expert in social, and he's always said jab, 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 right hook. And I really do subscribe to that too, where you can say like, for more info, like follow along, or more in my bio, or even in the first comment, say like for more information. So it's not even in your actual video. I think like we're all business people here. So there is a need to tie it back, but asking for the sale, I don't like it. It's how it's done that makes it cool. And you don't want to ruin the audience or the space or break trust. I do also think that, especially in the jewelry space and across TikTok, the beauty of it again is that you can stand up and say, I'm the professional, I'm the expert, with confidence, just by being repetitive and consistent about posting and giving people knowledge and information. And I think that that's really empowering. And it's, again, another reason why TikTok is so awesome versus some other social platforms. I do think all social channels need to be explored and everything should be holistic, but like this is a place of inspiration and education that you can get in a completely different way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so going back to, you mentioned consistency. I think there are a lot of rules when you look at Instagram about how often or when you should post and that kind of thing. But do you subscribe to the same kind of thing for TikTok, or is it just make the content when you can? Or what do you guys follow?
Well, the organic reach is so good right now that you should be posting whenever you have a good piece of content, but then you also don't want to just water your page out with stuff that isn't getting any views. You definitely want to make sure that what you're posting is something that sucks someone in and entertains them throughout the video. And then once they want to share that with their friend. So if you're making content that you're trying to educate and entertain them or inspire them every time, it should do well. And post those as many times as you can, because you don't really know which one's going to pop off or not.
Right.
I think I would say it's better to post good content than bad content. So if that's 3 times a week, great. There were times during COVID where I was posting 3 times a day. Do I still have that same time? No, but I've gone back to just like good content will always perform. And then again, something that doesn't exist on Instagram is that you can repost like and reshare old content that might have not had a chance to be seen before and reshare it again. And sometimes that's the thing that like is needed to make something like good or get more views on it. So I do that all the time.
Just the same video and you're just resharing it to give it new looks.
Sometimes I'll one other, line in it if I need to, but sometimes it's exactly the same and I'm just shaking up the hashtags and using different ones that are trending or new sounds.
Right. So if a new hashtag pops up and you think, oh, I could reuse this one that didn't do so well.
Yeah.
Joseph, what about you? How do you decide how often to post to the Libby's account?
Ideally, I would post something once a day, probably. If I had good enough content, I wouldn't be afraid to do it twice a day, even though the algorithm is more drip fed, so it does show older content. I still would try to leave a window of at least 4 to 6 hours, just so one post doesn't cannibalize the other in terms of who sees what. But some weeks are busier than others, and TikTok, you can get away with this more than on the other platforms. Like Instagram, like people do expect you to post every day. TikTok, if you take 3, 4, 5 days off, nobody's really going to care, and nobody's going to get upset with you. And like, even posting once a week, if your content is good, is totally acceptable. I would definitely opt for quality over quantity. And it's more important to make sure that what you're posting is really, really good than to just rush to get something out, because everything that you post trains the algorithm as to how people will interact with the rest of your posts. So if people have consistent patterns in terms of how they interact with certain things that you've posted before, the algorithm is going to assume that those same people will react the same way to future posts. And that works for Instagram, Facebook as well.
So how would you guys recommend to go back to what's trending? How do you figure out what is trending on TikTok? And for our users, how do you guys capitalize on that? What do you recommend?
You have to use the app. Trends on TikTok change so quickly.
Yeah.
Like literally, like if one thing becomes really popular, like it becomes saturated in like a span of hours.
Yeah.
So if you notice something and you're like, wow, that's really amazing, like that's going to be a big trend, you should probably try to make a video pretty quickly. The sooner you jump on trends, the more benefit you get out of it, because the sound gets pushed out a little bit harder, and people are just conditioned to, if they're seeing a trend over and over, then they want to see everybody's take on the trends. So they would, not only would the sound be pushed out a little bit more probably, but their brain would automatically end up with them watching more of the video and paying closer attention, because they're automatically more interested because they've seen so many different versions of that trend. But really, you just have to use the app. Like just like anything else, you can't be successful at it. You can't really know how to maximize benefit from it unless you use it.
Right.
Agreed. I think on a basic level, if you just open up the app and you look on the home screen and you'll see trending, like if you go through that, you'll be able to see different songs, different hashtags, different transitions, like it'll be common themes, and you just kind of plug yourself in to whatever feels comfortable. I also like to look at Charli D'Amelio's who I think is the most followed TikToker ever. And she's a very young girl, but she has insights to TikTok, and whatever she does, whatever sounds she posts, whatever things she does are strategic, and TikTok works directly with her. TikTok does a great job partnering with creators to help amplify whatever they're trying to make happen. I've worked with them directly several times, and like they really do want to empower creators. And again, I think that's like going back to why you should do it, whereas Instagram is not necessarily that way anymore. So
Right. And it seems like there's a little bit more of a chance to capture these trends too, because like you guys keep mentioning, it's not just, hashtags. You're looking at the effects, video, just, themes of videos, the music behind you, that all of that stuff. So it seems like there could be a lot more opportunities to capture one and still feel authentic with it. Like you're not just hopping on a trend for the sake of hopping on a trend. So I wanted to ask you guys, what, if anything, were some of the hurdles that you experienced when you were first starting, or that you saw other people, to sort of like address that and how you handled them, if anything?
Well,
When I
my
first
biggest
started-
hurdle,
Go ahead.
you go ahead, Noel.
Okay. Yeah. When I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. So I was just posting videos with no sound or anything, and I was like, oh, why isn't this working? But I was still getting I had like 200 followers, and then I saw a video that had a trending sound, and I thought, oh well, this seems like a cool audio. I'll make a video to it. And what do you know, that video blew up to 1.5 million views, and then I had 50,000 followers the next week.
My goodness.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep doing that. So that's just what I've been doing ever since.
All right. That's amazing. What about you, Joseph?
Well, before, my biggest hurdle is that I sell jewelry and I can't model the jewelry because it does not look good on me. And getting a model to do videos and pictures is harder than it should be at times. And the way I adapted was by using tweezers, because then nobody complains about how ugly my hands are, which people still do because I open the boxes and they'll tell me I need a manicure. And I'll just say that's why I use tweezers.
Gotcha. Well, that's a good way to do that.
I think it can be daunting, like if you're just going on and you're like, what do I do? What does this button do? Like, how does this even work? And so I've created tutorials as to like how to, like the 101s of TikTok. But I think the key too is to niche down as much as you can, or come up with topic buckets. So if you are just talking about jewelry, then that's easy because you're already in jewelry. But for me, my branding is social media and some lifestyle too. So I realized quickly that I have to go completely like social media here and be an educator. And that was a really easy thing for me to do. But again, like as experts, as everyone here is and watching, it's also easy to empower yourself to do the same, because if you think about how few people, how many jewelers there are in the world and how few jewelry companies have actually jumped on this bandwagon, you can be a first among the jewelry scene to be an expert. So once again, the barrier to entry is like low to quite low.
There's plenty of people on Instagram that have tons of followers who hopped on TikTok and they have no followers, and they've just kind of given up. Yep. So, I mean, and just to be clear, I saw a dad who was just doing dances as a joke with his daughter. He has 2 videos and he has over 40,000 followers.
Oh my goodness.
His first video got over 1 million views and he was just joking. It was just, I mean, it's real. You can make something of yourself. You just got to start making videos on TikTok.
And it seems sort of ripe for our industry too, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people have moved there yet. So I feel like the exposure could be pretty instant and easy. Not easy, but definitely rewarding.
Still early.
Yeah, definitely. So on that note, I wanted to show, let's showcase a few of the videos. So I asked Joseph and Nolan to send me a few of their most popular or things that were sort of noteworthy on their accounts. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And Weirdly, I'm going to pull them up on my browser, which I realize is a little bit different, but for the sake of showcasing them, I thought that might work best. So I'm going to start with, you guys able to see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to start with this one, which is Joseph's. Let me
It's a killer, you've been banging on my chest, bang, bang.
Okay.
You've been banging on my chest, bang.
Sorry, let me just turn that. There we go. Okay. So tell us a little bit about this, and you know why you sent this to me. I know that it got some pretty good attention.
That was something where I accidentally caught a trend very early. I made the video. I was scrolling through popular sounds trying to find something. I like Bruno Mars. It's very appropriate music. Going back, another hurdle was, and a way to be professional, I will not use music or sounds on our account that have swear words or direct sexual references. I just won't use those, which unfortunately excludes like 60% of the total sounds available, including the most popular ones. But this one, I just thought it was a good sound. I like the way the bang bang lined up with the ring shifting. And apparently that was also a trend about a guy putting on his girlfriend's mask with perfume. To be honest, after watching dozens of those videos, I still really just don't understand what it means or what it is. But this is just an instance where we caught a trend very early by accident. I got in definitely before there were 3,000 videos out there, probably like before 2000, and it had like 45,000 likes in about 24 hours.
Oh my gosh! Wow. So it was all, you just happened to find the audio and use it, and then it blew up.
Yeah, that was just pure luck. Just one of those instances where it's like,
Yeah. Here's another one that you shared with me.
With it. I am obsessed with it. And I think this is an obsession that doesn't hurt anyone. People think I'm obsessed.
I love that audio.
And I'm okay with it.
this was the first video that we did that really became popular. Our first couple of posts had 34 views each. And then this one got a lot of views really quickly relative to the first ones, at least. But they all came in like a 2-hour window. It ended up getting about 1,000 views on the first 24 hours, but 90% of that came within like a 2-hour window. Like I posted it probably 11 a.m. and they all came between like 4 and 6 p.m., which I thought was very strange. And then slowly over the span of a week, that started to really take off, and it ended up with over 100,000 in the first week. And after the first week, I had about 2,000 followers. I didn't experience the explosive growth that Nolan did. Ours was more like consistent, and like certain posts would give us a couple thousand followers, but we didn't have a single one give us like north of like 10,000. It's more just consistency, but this was the first one that really was popular, and it's different. The sound is something that a lot of people were listening to at the time, and it's something a lot of people can relate to. And it's simple and it's short, and it makes people say, wow, it makes people laugh, and it's just enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it's like the perfect combination of like the sort of educational side and just being really fun to watch. I really enjoy that one. Okay, the one more from you, Joseph.
What people say, I live my life, no other way. Yeah, we could.
And so I think we wanted to talk about this one a little bit because you were saying, you know, this is straight up, people want to see the boxes, and that's something you had noticed on your account. Is that right?
Yeah, people like the boxes. People love the idea of opening the boxes, and I think a lot of times people like the way the boxes look and the process of opening them more than they like the jewelry that's inside of them. So we have a lot of unique ring boxes. I tend to hoard them upstairs whenever they come in. I don't let the good ones be used as jewelry displays, and I buy them whenever I can. So I've got a fairly nice jewelry box collection, and folks like that was one of our most popular videos, and it's just relatively simple.
Yeah, that was so great. I'm obsessed with those little book ones. They're adorable.
Thank you.
And now we got one from Nolan.
Please don't be ugly. Please. Oh my God! Please.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that one, Nolan.
Yeah, just I heard an audio when I was scrolling on my For You page, and I just thought it'd be funny if I did it that way. I just have fun with it. I really am not like, I just look at the trending sound. I'm not really worried about cuss words or anything because I just don't really care. And I feel like the attention span of people is so small that you can post a video and okay, people might get mad that there's a cuss word in it, but then they forget it tomorrow. And then there's a million other videos out there now, and it's just like, just gets lost.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about what I'm posting. I'm just posting stuff to have fun. If I see an audio that I like, just
go with it.
yeah.
I got this one too.
And this is
tell us about that one too. Was that for the audio?
So that's the first video that I ever had that blew up. That's the one that got me all my followers.
Amazing.
Yeah, I just heard the audio and thought it was a good song, and it had a good length to it. My videos tend to do better when they're shorter. And I also will put like a shorter video at the end of the finished stone so that people have to go back and watch the video over to see it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing those, talking about those with us. They're so great. So before we go to the audience Q&A, I wanted to touch on Instagram Reels. I think that there's a lot of crossover there. So when you guys are posting videos to Reels, do you tend to use the same content as you've put on TikTok? Or what's your strategy there?
I use exactly the same content. I've never paid much attention to things being exclusive to Reels. I make TikToks and I download them without the watermark and then put them on Reels. And some of them have been very successful. Some of them have just done okay, but overall, I think it's definitely worth doing.
Yeah, I think the organic reach is pretty good on Reels right now. It's definitely not as good as TikTok, but I just ripped a video off of TikTok and didn't even remove the watermarks, and it performed really well. So I would definitely think it's worth doing.
Yeah, the audience overlap probably isn't too much anyway, right? That you maybe a few people, no one's going to call you out and say that's your TikTok video. I mean, really
no, I think
don't care.
Right.
And I also think the people on Instagram aren't necessarily on TikTok, so you might get your followers from Instagram to go over to TikTok.
I do think that there's some things on TikTok that just don't make sense anywhere else, but luckily in jewelry, I think that it's fine. But there's like some things that are just such a TikTok community kind of thing that should be where it is. I will say if like watermarks are something that bother you, or I know that Instagram has come out with some new language saying that they're not going to help those who are basically sharing content from TikTok onto Reels. I use an app called Splice and I edit everything there. It's really, really easy to put and stitch together videos and then basically like write the same thing twice. So if you have an intern, that's a good intern project.
Right. So you're basically just recreating it in a different platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that no one can hate on it. No algorithm can hate on it either way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's a good point too about the content, that maybe it doesn't necessarily all transfer, but for the sake of jewelry, it might pretty easily.
Jewelry, it should work. Yeah, jewelry, it should work.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think I wanted to go ahead and shoot over to the audience Q&A. I think we've had a few things come through. Before we do you guys have any other last minute tips or things to share that I forgot to ask about or that you've been thinking about while we were talking?
Don't
I think-
overthink it. That's it.
Categorically.
Just have fun
Have
with it.
fun. Yeah, you have to use it to know what works, but have fun. The more fun you have, the better you'll do. Your audience can tell if you're enjoying yourself or not.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely one where the authenticity speaks pretty loudly, and it is so much fun to use. I mean, it's just so easy to get caught swiping. So, okay, thank you guys so much. Let's jump over. Michelle, we're ready for the Q&A whenever you are.
Okay, thanks everyone. That was a really great discussion. I think I'm going to get a TikTok account, if nothing else, just to look around because it looks like a lot of fun. And thanks to our sponsor, RDI Diamonds. As a reminder, you can still type questions into the Zoom Q&A box, and we'll try to get to as many as possible today. I'm going to give people a few more minutes to enter the questions, and I just want to say a quick word about RDI Diamonds. RDI Diamonds, the selection you want, the quality you need. Thousands of diamonds, that's just the beginning. RDI offers a wide range of services and support to help you succeed, from flexible memo options, a partnership with De Beers Group Industry Services, to generous stock options and cost-efficient shipping. RDI's goal is to provide the highest quality of both care and diamonds to your store. Visit rdidiamonds.com today to learn more. That is rdidiamonds.com. Now let's get started with our listener questions. So the first question that's kind of come through in a few different forms is about, people are a little confused, I think, about what you mean when you say a trend. Like what is trending on TikTok, and where do you go to find these trends? And the way I kind of understand it is, the trend then, is it the music and sounds that are trending, or are you trying to match your video to trending music? How does it work? And whoever feels like they're best positioned can start with that one.
One of the ways in which TikTok is significantly different from other social media platforms is they kind of try to position themselves as being a community where everybody like interacts on the same level. And a lot of times people will make videos of themselves doing the same things. When it first started off as Musical.ly, people would dance and they would all do the same dance, and they would do the same style of skit and the same dance to that sound. And people liked seeing other folks do the same dances that they were and doing their own take on it. So everybody kind of does the same type of thing, and that may be using a specific sound because that song is popular right now and they like the dance to it. Maybe that sound is better used as a background for a specific type of slideshow or another specific type of funny video. Recently there was this one girl who went on there and was like, tell me a video that is stuck in your head forever or whatever. And now her video is stuck in everybody's head who's ever used that app, because I guarantee you everybody has seen that at least 1,000 times. But whereas on Instagram and Facebook, you're not going to go out of your way to do what everybody else is doing and put your own take on that. On TikTok, you are. So TikTok, you're kind of like intentionally trying to like follow the crowd and do the same thing that they're doing, but do it in a different way when it's popular. And the trends kind of move with time. So some trends may be around long term, some you can circle back to, some last a very short period of time.
And you'll see the trends there in the app when you're using it. You'll know what's trending in terms of like music or dances or whatever.
You just scroll through your For You page and you'll hear the sounds over and over and over again. People are posting them all over the place. So you'll know what a trending sound is because you'll hear it all over and over again.
And is it then your practice, and Persephone, you can weigh in this too, best practice to then try to put a kind of a jewelry spin on that trend?
Yeah, totally.
All right, I hope that answers. We had a couple questions about what exactly
And
is
like
meant by trend.
one thing that I do you don't even necessarily have to take part in a trend. If you just use a sound that is associated with a trend, you can do something completely different with it. Kind of like that gorilla video, like that sound was trending and I just liked the sound. I just thought it fit well together. And fortunately, it wasn't the type of thing that somebody else would have deemed as inappropriate that I would have had to go back and delete it later, because that has happened once before also.
So there's also what you can do is you utilize the trending sound and you can turn the audio of that sound all the way down so it's really low. And then you can make voiceovers of the video, like educating somebody about a certain type of stone or a diamond or whatever. And the sound is in the background. So the algorithm is recognizing that video as using the trending sound, but you're doing something that's totally different than what the trend is. You're just making your own video using the sound in the background. So
Not necessarily taking over your whole video. It can just be
right, you're not doing the dance or doing what everybody's doing in that video skit or whatever. You're just using the sound.
Yeah, you're just kind of like tapping into the trend, but like in your own way, of course.
Yeah, it's like that Scaplight video that Brecken pulled up.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I think that answers people's questions about trending. I know I have a better picture of it now. We've also had several requests, and Joseph, Nolan, and Persephone, whenever you get a chance, to put your handles into the chat so people can follow you on TikTok and Instagram and see what you are doing. If you can, you have a chance to do that. Somebody asked here, is there a, and they asked, when is the best time to post? But I guess I'll broaden it, say, is there a best time to post? Because according to this discussion, it kind of seems like, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, there are fewer roles with TikTok and it's kind of more open and fluid.
Well, so it'll tell you if you're a creator, if you're part of the creator TikTok creator fund. You can look at your analytics for your videos, and it'll tell you when your videos are most liked and what day of the week you get the most engagement. And the other thing you can do is you can act like you're going to start a live video, and it'll show you how many of your followers are currently online. And then you can decide, oh, that's a good time to post. There's a number of ways that you can see, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think the timing really matters as long as you're posting entertaining content.
And then this might be a good question for Joseph. You addressed this a little bit. Someone asked, should I worry about taking an expensive product and making a post which comes off as juvenile or devaluing?
I mean, no. It's only devaluing if you're devaluing it. I don't understand how putting a piece, like I romanticize the jewelry for the first time in the history of the jewelry industry. Like for the longest time, everybody just wanted jewelry, and it was so much easier. Now it's disliking jewelry is popular to an extent. So, and there's so many economic issues where a lot of people can't afford jewelry. A lot of the people who can't afford jewelry feel bad for wanting jewelry. So we actually have to romanticize the idea and remind people of why they want these things. And I think this is a very appropriate way of doing that. And that's just all perspective. If you view it as though you're demeaning the jewelry, you probably are. If you view it as though you're romanticizing the jewelry, you probably are.
All right. And then we have a question. We have a couple of questions kind of wanting some comparison between this platform and Instagram, which I think for a lot of the people listening today, they're kind of trying to make the leap from TikTok to Instagram. And someone asked, when on TikTok do you follow others? Is it like Instagram where it's quote follow for follow?
No,
I've never been a fan of that strategy. That seems cheap, and you get higher quality followers when you're genuine. So follow the things that you like and the people you like interacting with and want to talk to.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, and it's about the quality of your followers. And if you have a ton of followers and they're not good, they're not engaging, and they're not helping you build your page or sharing your work, then they're just they're making your engagement worse. They're making your reach worse.
Right, right. And then we had another question. In this, the panel touched on Reels a bit, and I don't know if everybody listening knows, but Reels is kind of Instagram's answer to TikTok, if you will. It's something they introduced after TikTok gained popularity. So someone wants to know, is Reels as good as TikTok? And this is just your opinion, obviously.
It's a subjective question. I would say no. I prefer TikTok. It's more fun. It's easier to use. And my videos have done better there personally. So therefore that makes it more fun also.
Nolan, any thoughts on Reels versus TikTok?
I enjoy TikTok more. I just do Reels because I'm trying to get more engagement. I could care less about the Instagram Reels.
Same.
It's just a copy of TikTok. They're trying to copy TikTok, that's all. And it's the
Right,
same with
right.
YouTube Shorts. We could do this whole thing on YouTube Shorts too. It's the same thing. All these companies are trying to copy what TikTok's doing, but I think TikTok's is going to stay, and it's not going anywhere.
So
It's going
I
to get more popular.
think kind of the other side of that question, if you will, is then, is it worth making an account on TikTok and not just saying, well, Reels is the same thing, so I'll just have my store on Instagram Reels instead, or my brand?
Oh yeah, you should definitely make a TikTok. I mean, I think you should be doing whatever you can on whatever platform is out there that has people's attention. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's TikTok or some new app that comes in the next couple of years, you should be on it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. We have a couple questions pertaining to how exactly you do your videos. Someone wants to know, do you find a length of video that works best, such as under 30 seconds?
Our best videos tend to be really short ones, 7 to 10 seconds. I'll do a lot that are under 15. That said, if you can actually get somebody to actively watch the whole thing, and a majority of people actually watch the whole thing, then videos that are a little bit longer, between 20 and 30 seconds or even more, will perform better. Because the goal of every social media website is to keep users on their app as long as possible. So the longer you can keep folks on their app, the more likely they will be to go out of their way to show off your content.
If you're making an entertaining video, I think the shorter videos do better. But if you're making an educational video, and that's what your page is about educating people, and people are following you because they heard a video that was purely on educating people, those videos do really well if they're long, because people are there to listen to you. So it just depends on how you want to run your page. I know there's a guy that I follow who's got over 100,000 followers, and all he does is he's a jeweler or works at a jewelry store, and he just educates people on different types of gemstones. And his videos do really well, and they're like 30 seconds to a minute long. So
they're on the longer side.
Yeah, it just depends on how you present yourself on TikTok, and the followers they'll come.
Okay. All right. Someone wants to know, where do you learn how to edit the videos? Do you use a certain app? One of the panelists today mentioned Splice. Are there others? And is this just something, I guess, maybe it was more just self-taught, just trial and error?
I use an app called CapCut, which was, it's owned by ByteDance, which is the parent company that owns TikTok. I started using that because it was the easiest to make the dimensions fit to the level that I wanted. It does have a watermark at the end, so you have to remove that when you post it. it's just self-taught trial and error. I had never
Yeah.
done it before.
You can make all the videos within the app. I mean, if you don't need to have anything else, it can be easier if you get one of those other apps, but I haven't made it. I've done all my videos just inside of the app.
See, my hands shake, so my videos require a lot of editing. Like for me to have 5 3-second clips where it's not like shaking like that, like it might take me 20 minutes, and I'll just have to sit there and I'll watch myself like move the tweezers like that, like 200 times in order to find the one that actually looks good. So mine requires a lot more editing. It just depends on your videos and your style.
Yeah. And for the record, Joseph, I thought your hands looked fine. And don't worry, people have always also said something to National Jeweler about our unmanicured hands on Instagram. So you're not the only one.
People are haters.
They really
Yep.
are. I mean, especially when they don't have to hit anyone face to face, right?
Exactly.
So someone wants to know, do you prepare a loose script or kind of storyline ahead of time? You touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'm curious, like, do you find like it's better when you just go in off the cuff and don't overthink it? Or do you feel like the videos that do better for you are more thought out and like you hear a piece of music and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to get this and do a little skit like this? Which works better for you?
I just make the content and I put music to it afterwards. Occasionally I'll make slight edits or rearrange the sound just so like transitions happen when the beat drops, things like that. But I pretty much always make the video and then place it with the sound. Sometimes if there will be a specific sound I want to use, I'll make a video around it. Like if something's trending, like there was this one time where there was an Avril Lavigne song trending, and it was talking about people showing off their side profiles to show off how pretty they were. So I did it with side profiles of Art Deco rings to show off the filigree, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And that was planned, but most of them aren't. And if I'm like talking about history or something, I found that the first couple that I did was just kind of shooting from the hip, but it's hard to fit a lot of content into 60 seconds. So I have found that I have to be scripted and once again do each one like 20 times to ensure that I can fit into the allotted time frame.
And Joseph, that's interesting. So do you find like when you have kind of a block of time, you're like, okay, this afternoon, I'm going to make some TikTok videos. Do you kind of understand what videos work on the site? Do you make a bunch at once and then just keep them and then post them as like, oh, this song is trending. I actually did something that'll be a perfect fit for that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like with Instagram, I try to always have at least 2 months worth of backup posts because there will be periods of time where I'm not going to be able to post for a while. We are really busy with customers. Sometimes employees are sick and I have to be on the floor and help people more than others. So just because there will be entire weeks where I don't have the ability to make content. So I try to have as much as I can ready to go. And sometimes it's really easy just answering questions, but sometimes like if I am taking a picture of a piece for Instagram, I'll also make a video of it and then edit it as I have time. A lot of times I have to do the editing at home. It does take a lot of time. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't, at least the way I do it, it does. Nolan is a wizard with stones and like his probably doesn't require the editing that mine does, but his is just talent. Like mine requires more editing and effort.
Brecken, did you hear that? Joseph has 2 months of Instagram content
I'm
stored up.
so jealous. I'm dying.
I don't right now. I kind of made I used everything up over the holidays, so I have to start. I'm starting back, trying to get caught back up.
2 months. Nolan, what about you? Do you do more script or more off the cuff? I'm going to guess yours seems a little bit more spontaneous.
Yeah, because I'm just posting every stone that I cut as I'm cutting. So like the one that I just posted yesterday, was a sapphire that I just finished that day. And I just remind myself throughout the process, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to take a picture of the rough or a video of the rough first. Then I'm going to take a video, 2 or 3 videos of little clips throughout the cutting process, and then the final video of the stone. And that formula seems easy enough for me. And I also will label them. I've been doing this transformation from rock to jewel. And that's like my attention grabber. And people are seeing the rock. Then they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll watch to the end to see what it looks like. And that's been the formula for me.
Yeah, we have to think of it from the end user's perspective. That's so interesting to people, I'm sure, because, in the gem business, we understand what rough looks like, but a lot of people don't. Like if you
Yeah.
showed them what a rough diamond is, they would be completely shocked that that's what a diamond looks like before it's cut, or what a sapphire or spinel or anything looks like before it's cut.
The people that follow me think garnets are red. That's all they only know red garnets.
Yeah, right.
So it's like it really is. So when they see a stone that I post, they're like, no way, is that real? That must be glass. And I get all these trolls every once in a while saying, oh, that's fake or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. I still have yet to make a sale on TikTok, but I've gotten a lot of attention from it. And I know that those people that are maybe younger and can't afford some of the stuff, they will be able to afford it someday, hopefully.
Yeah, and I mean,
And-
you're there in the
And if
conversation.
TikTok sticks around too for the next decade, then it'll be good for us.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure. And
you're
you're
one of
having
my
fun.
favorite accounts. When I'm rich, I'll buy something from you.
Well, thanks, Joseph. I need to follow people because I really don't use TikTok, and just in my own personal life, I just post stuff on it. But I definitely need to keep up with people that are using it. So I'm gonna hop on and follow all of you and Persephone. I need to find out what her account is.
Joseph, you were just going to say something about one of your favorite accounts, and that's actually how I'd like to wrap it up today. If you could, anyone could share some of their favorite people, their handles, because I think that's also a great way for people to learn is just go look at, we could sit here and talk about it all day, but I think the best way to learn is just go look at people who are doing it well, right? So Joseph, who were you going to mention?
I think Nolan's videos are amazing. Like, I absolutely love watching his videos. The way that he'll take a dull looking piece of rough and turn it into just something so beautiful and so colorful and vibrant. It's really amazing.
Thanks.
There's a lot of good comedy profiles on there. I don't really follow typical, like I follow a handful of jewelers that I'm friends with. I occasionally, but I mean, it's mainly just personal interest stuff. I don't know that it's just whatever you're into. There will be something for whatever you're into.
And Joseph is the store TikTok he's put in the chat for anyone that wants to see is at Levy's FJ. And his personal account is at J Denenberg. And then we have Nolan is at Nolan the Gem Cutter, and you can find both of them on TikTok. Nolan, any favorite accounts?
There's one account, and I can't think of his name right now, so it's not going to help at all. But he makes those educational videos that are like 30 seconds to a minute long, and he does a really good job at it. And all he does is use a trending sound on a really low volume and explains what you're looking at. I think he was one of the first people to start doing it, which is why he's got over 100,000 followers. But I'll look him up. I'll try to find his name for you.
Okay. Joseph, Nolan, and Persephone, thank you so much. It was such an interesting discussion. Honestly, the questions were coming so fast that I couldn't even answer them all. So I hope I try to answer most of the ones that we got multiple times. So you can tune in for another episode of My Next Question. We'll be back next Tuesday. That's February 23rd at 2 p.m. Eastern. Our senior editor, Fashion, Ashley Davis will be interviewing Yelang 23's Elisa Teichman about online sales, 2021 trends, and the future of jewelry retail. And you can learn more about that and our other webinars at the link I just dropped into the chat. Thanks again to everyone who joined us today, and please take care.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate it.